And here you see the same dress that was on the left. This is the page that is fully accessorized, and this is the way I did it. This was done, oh, maybe 20 years ago. So, and it's on film. I shot 4x5 film, and now I'm into digital, and life is much easier, trust me. But this is a good example of an Egyptian revival evening dress, and I accessorized it with the proper shoes, and I selected this is the back view of the dress, and also with a evening wrap of net, circular style, and then this shows you the spread, what you're allowed to see. All, you know, it all comes together with the colors too, and that's what I try to achieve in this book. Here, this is a picture. This is my studio in New York, and when I finished shooting the cover of this book, and I always had this cover in mind, and I think I got the idea from an illustration that I saw somewhere, and I tried to look in Vogue magazine to see if I had seen it in a cover, but I couldn't find it. So somewhere up here I had programmed it, and I thought, this is the way I'm going to do, and this is the way it's going to be. And I found this incredible dress. It's a three-piece dress. Here you see two pieces, but the third piece is a pleated shawl. And this is the way the cover turns out, but here you can see all the paraphernalia that's in my studio, and I arranged this. This is a self-portrait. I really, in my whole career, I kind of like to record things, and even my own life, you know, and I used to hold up the grayscale for the emulsion test that I did in the studio, and I have maybe hundreds of these, of me holding it up over a period of time, and you can just see the progression of the age. This is the cover that's so far is what I have in mind. I designed the 1920s logo, and I signed the fabric part, but this is me working on the close-up of that particular garment, and it's a front view. But this is to serve. This shows you all. These little gooseneck apparatuses that are on stands. They all hold a little tiny mirror, and I have them aimed. You see, I use a point source light. So whenever you have a little mirror or a reflector, or if you want to put a little shadow somewhere, it's exactly the way it is on the film, and that's one of the advantages of a point source light, which means a spotlight. And you can see the sharp shadow, and it records fabrics beautifully. And that's what I discovered, because I've used all kinds of light, big sources of light, and I had all kinds of tricks. And you'll see later on when I show you some of the history of my work in New York, you'll see all of these big changes in light. And I was mainly a studio photographer. And I loved playing with the lights, and I had my own studio, and I had the opportunity to do that, because on days off I would go in and experiment with my lights. This is the front view here, and this shows you the front view, three-quarter crop of the shawl, and a close-up of the handbag and the hat ornament, and also a common thing that you saw with fashion in those days was the first scarf and the handbag, all marcasite frame and suede, and a necklace. And so this is one of the pages. It has a facing page to it also, but time doesn't allow me to show facing pages tonight. You'll have to buy the book. This shows you the configuration of the mannequins. I switch bottom torsos and upper torsos around. And sometimes the upper torso isn't leaning right for the body English of that specific movement. So I took off the central rod that connected this, and put in something more flexible so that the top of the torso wouldn't slide off the bottom torso. And then if you tilted the upper torso, I had these wooden balls that were flat on one end. And this way allowed me to do that. And so this is the mannequin on the side with pretty much the same pose as what you see on the nude mannequin. And the only difference being is that I used articulated arms for the dressed mannequin, because when I got it on the set, I realized that I have to have separation in between the sleeves and things like that, or I may want to bend an elbow, or I may want to turn the hand a certain way, and it's very beneficial to have articulated arms. And luckily, Adele Rustine provided me with these so that I ordered them for this project. This shows you the left-hand page, which illustrates the luxurious embroidery. This is in 1923 when the hems dropped down quite low, close to the ankles, and this is the other side of the page, and this shows you also embroidery. Again, this is the theme of this one specific page, and when you see the panoramic view of this, you get a view of a 1924 dress on the right, which is a little bit on the sporty side and kind of a peasant kind of look, and then a more dressier model on the left. And this gives you a nice connection of the years. Just these 2 years, there's a difference in the hemlines. And this is an illustration of a dress of another embroidery thing. This is all hand embroidered. And the faggoting in this, the faggoting means that each piece is attached with a single thread that goes around the whole garment. And this, I'm sure, is a couture piece, but so many of my things that are couture quality don't have the label in them. And sometimes when I purchased these things, I got them very inexpensively. You have to remember that I was purchasing these things I would say in 1970s and 1980s, when all these estates were spilling out on the flea market fields. And so if the garment had the armpits dropped out, or if there were some few holes in it, I got it probably at a little better price. I don't remember what I paid for this, but it was very little. And this is the facing page, and it shows you Georgette that has this incredible embroidery on it. And this is also a spread. This is also a page, the left page, illustrating embroidery on a day dress. And this is the opposite page of another fine dress. I dated this at 1926, and I can do that by how far the dress drops down below the knee, usually. And some of the styles that I look up for research, I can pretty much pick out now, pretty much date them correctly. And this applique, this on the trim, is all stitched with gold, hand stitched with gold thread, and each piece is hand colored.